Hello and welcome to Candidates Forum on the Las Cruces channel. This is where we give the voters of Las Cruces an opportunity to get acquainted with those running for office. My name is Mark Steffen, and today I'll be speaking with Lynn Cooper, who is a candidate for the Las Cruces School Board, District 5. Carol, thanks for being with us on the show today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Now, you've been in Las Cruces for quite a while. You've had a chance to see the goings-on of the school board and the school system. And so today you have an opportunity to give us some more information on how you feel about certain things. We were talking earlier about children being ready for kindergarten and preschool. What do you mean by ready for kindergarten?
Well, if children are ready if they are equipped with language, you and I probably have always taken it for granted that a child learns to speak, but we can't take that for granted anymore. Sometimes parents haven't been talking with their children. They're away from their children. Someone else is taking care of them, and the child is not spoken to. A child might come to school without a language, either English or Spanish. It's not an issue of Spanish, perhaps speaking Spanish and not being able to speak English. It's an issue of having any verbal language. Mm-hmm. So a child should have verbal language, and a child should come to school with some social skills. Being kind, knowing how to be kind to other people, and being respectful of person and property. The child should have some familiarity with books and counting, the idea of counting.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen examples of children who aren't well behaved. That has an influence, a destructive influence, on the other students in the class.
Absolutely. That is social skills that are reflected in as I said, speaking kindly, looking at who they're talking with, listening, mm-hmm. And responding appropriately. Those things are formed. Those skills are formed with the first persons in their lives, and parents are those first teachers. And in times past, the parent has been with the child until the time of starting school, which used to be 5 years old. But today, since children they don't seem to be prepared, and so much of that has to do with parents not being the person talking with them and being with them and showing them how to do things. They are not prepared for kindergarten.
Do you think that could possibly be because there are so many single-parent homes, and that one parent is away working 1, 2, or more jobs, while the child is left with itself or maybe one other person who's not interested in helping the child?
And don't know.
Wouldn't know what to do. Right.
When our children were really small, and I think that every generation of parents say this, but this baby doesn't come with a book. We don't know how to be parents just naturally.
Right.
And we learn, but it has been by trial and error, and from what you saw as a child yourself. So a greater problem then is that very often now we've got 2 or 3 generations who did not have their parents in the home when they were small, so they didn't have someone to follow or learn from.
Yes, and if those parents are disruptive in the home themselves, the children learn by seeing.
That is correct.
And especially the younger ones. And so when they get to school, they have to learn by seeing as well. And I guess teachers of the younger ones have a tough job to turn those kids around and to get them interested in learning.
Yes.
And involved in the learning process.
Yes, and I mean, teachers are terribly challenged today. They basically are having to do the job that parents have not done already. And the current solution is to have preschool for children who have not had that early training. And we have Las Cruces Public Schools is making quite an effort to have preschool available for students who need it. And I visited a school that has 10 classrooms of 3- and 4-year-olds who go to school all day long.
Now, that's not mandatory, though, is it?
No, today it is not. It isn't mandatory, and children are evaluated who can best use this preschool training, and they have each classroom has between 18 and 20 students in it, and they are training so that children will be able to do what is needed at 5 years old.
That prepares them for kindergarten.
It prepares them for kindergarten,
which is mandatory,
and so,
right?
I don't know that. I guess it is.
It seems to me it's
yeah,
K through 12.
Yeah, we take it for granted that children are going to go to kindergarten in the city. So.
I suppose they could get out of it if there was a good reason, but why would they? Yeah.
That's right. I don't think anybody particularly wants their children to miss kindergarten.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It gets the kids out of the house anyway. Now, who bears the responsibility for getting the children ready for school? You mentioned the parents, but if not them, who?
Well, the school is. In times past, private school has taken on has been available to parents. Mm-hmm. Even when I was a young mother, preschool was available in Las Cruces, and but that was privately owned and operated. But now, because we have so many students who are not prepared for school, for kindergarten, because they're not prepared, if they attempt kindergarten and all that comes after that, it is harder for them, if not impossible. Sometimes you can't make those, you can't make it up. If you're starting with no language, for example, or if there's a learning disability that exists, everything is harder. So we want to discover what is needed early on and handle it before kindergarten, and then everything else. We have obstacles as we go along through school, but at least we learn in order, and
right.
And everything that if we have learned something at the appropriate time, it makes the next lessons easier.
Right. School actually teaches us how to deal with obstacles further down the line in our life.
Yes, and focusing on learning how to learn is more important than learning what to learn. We want to gain information as we go along, but we need to know how to use that information to make it effective.
And studies have shown that the younger you can get a child learning, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, the more they can absorb and retain, whether it's language or music or any mathematics. The sooner you get them learning these things, the more they'll appreciate them the older they get.
Yes, that's right. everything that they come across makes more sense.
Yes.
And it's a great, huge puzzle.
Now, you mentioned when we were talking earlier the triangle that you spoke of. You have the children, you have their parents, and then you have the potential parents.
That's right. I think that, we've talked an awful lot about students, and we've talked a lot about parents. And I mean to tell you, we've talked to a lot of people in the community. All of the candidates for school board have talked with a lot of folks, and everybody certainly every person I talked to said, "Wow, New Mexico is 50th in the states for student achievement, demonstrating student achievement." Everyone is concerned about it, and as we should all be. If we don't have educated children coming out of 12th grade, we're not going to have a workforce. We are not going to have educated next generation. It's very serious to not adequately educate our students. We have to do that. We've got to find ways to do it. Now, back to the triangle. So we see students. I mean, we have the Las Cruces Public Schools and is addressing, obviously, with preschool. They are addressing the children and various social service agencies. If there is poverty in the home and children don't have food to eat, there are social service agencies that see to it that children do have food and they do have clothing. And granted, somebody's got to make the effort to approach them, but physically we can take care of things. Once learning disabilities are discovered, there are agencies to take care of, to try to help that. But there are two other areas that I think we have got to address, and I don't think these are simple fixes, but I believe it's doable. One is that we certainly have to work with the parents of the children who are in school. Parents have got lots of obstacles for being involved with their children. In many cases, you have one-parent families. You have where a mother or a father they're busy working and trying to support this family, and they are not engaged with their student. You sometimes have we see difficulties with drug abuse and alcoholism, and a parent can barely care for himself or herself, much less provide those interactions with a child who is needing to develop social skills and so on. Sometimes we see that there is child. You referred to child abuse, because that's what a parent has seen in his or her past, and they don't know different. Somehow we have to, but we need to create the situation where parents are interacting with the children. So I see the community, and particularly the extended family of students, as being, let's encourage each other. We are all part of this solution, and there are people in our lives, our individual lives, who have these difficulties. So we need to ask something of ourselves, each one of us. If we know a student, or we are part of that student's extended family, let's see what we can do to help that situation, so that parents and children can be better connected and certainly have a connection with the student if it doesn't look like it's possible.
That's a good place for us to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll pick up on that as soon as we come right back.
Okay.
You're watching Candidates Forum right here on the Las Cruces channel.
Horizon Granite is here. We'll come to you to customize your kitchen and bathroom with beautiful countertops and cabinets. Find out more at horizongranite.com. Call us at 575-650-3180.
Horizon Granite is here.
It's here.
Make yourself a beautiful home.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
And we are back. We're watching Candidates Forum, and today I'm talking with Lynn Cooper, who's the candidate for the Las Cruces School Board District 5 here in Las Cruces. Now, Carol, we were talking about the triangle, or the triad, if you will, children, parents, and then the potential parents, basically children who may well soon have children.
Right. I think that because we do have 2 or 3 generations in a family where there has where the parents are not the ones who are primarily engaged with their children, we've lost a learning factor. You know, we learn from those around us, and if the parents are absent, children are not learning from their parents. And we talked about earlier about those skills that a child needs, that they're the first of the building blocks of education. And so if we don't have parents, for the potential parents, then there's some new learning that has to occur, because if a person knows what is going to be expected of this little child that is going to be born to them, then they can get on it and learn how to do things.
Parenting classes.
Well, yes, and not just parenting. I mean, another factor that we didn't say an awful lot about, we kind of take it for granted, but there's no reason to take it for granted because we see it happen all the time. We have children who come to school who have not been fed. They come to school hungry. Or they may come to school and they have not slept well during the night. Or they come to school and they've been really worried. Well, if you know that it's going to be expected of your child to be well fed and to be alert, then you're going to start asking yourself, okay, what does it take for this child to be well fed? And I need to put the child to bed at a decent hour so that he or she is ready for school the next morning to be able to learn. If those kinds of things, like being hungry or being cold or being tired, if those kinds of conditions exist, that child's not learning. So let's teach a child who is still a child, but 4 or 5 years down the road, or 10, this person's going to be a parent one of these days and hasn't had the background to see how children are trained, then let's train them. Let's do it. Let's let them see what's going to be expected. One, their own education, everything that they learn in the future, they can take from that things that will help them be able to do those things that are necessary for the next generation.
Yes.
And two, they might put off being involved sexually at too early an age, so that they can spend their early years going to school or developing a career or whatever before they have children, and not be available finally to be with the child, and knowing that that is really important for that child's development. If the parent that parent needs to be with the child, and if they see early on that that's what's going to be needed, they will postpone until it's the appropriate time for them, I hope.
I think frequently the parents aren't taught the responsibility that comes with having children. And there's only so much that the parents can expect the school to take care of. Some places do have the free breakfasts, the free lunches, but they can't do anything about a child showing up tired or worried, anxious, because they had such a bad time with their home life.
That's right.
It's all up to the parents really to provide what the child needs to get the education.
We can talk all the time. We do talk all the time about bringing more money into the classroom. There isn't enough as it is, but so every one of us needs to contribute to the education of a child, in addition to what can be done at school. Everything can't be done at school, and the best quality education for some things is in the home, and it just makes life easier for that student. We hope that learning is something that children enjoy, and it's something that they enjoy for a lifetime. And all of our lives are better when the more we know about things around us and people and so on, the fuller and more effective every single thing we do will be.
Well, one way to look at it is every student is a potential teacher one day.
That's right, absolutely. And I'm really glad you brought that out, because that's exactly right. Our very, very first job is bringing on the next generation.
Absolutely. Now, what tells you that a child is ready for preschool and kindergarten? And we've talked about some of the reasons a child might not be ready, but how do you know that they are?
Well, when they demonstrate skills like being able to listen, follow instructions, when they can count, and they care about counting and they know what it means, when they can identify colors and so on, and the social skills, that is so important, and they're not frustrated over everything that comes down the path.
Right.
They've had enough successes. They've learned how to do some things, so they know they can learn some more things.
Now you've stated the problem, but do you have any ideas about solutions?
Well, I think that certainly from the school could intervene by having including in life skills classes for young girls. We could add that to life skills classes, and possibly maybe even provide for mothers and daughters to take a class like that together, or sons and dads. talk about how children grow and what they need in order to grow and become well educated. If all of us would be engaged with the students in our lives, I think it would make a huge difference. And that's inexpensive, but it could mean such a difference in the education life of our students.
Well, we've only got a minute or so left. So is there any final words you didn't get to that you'd like to let our voters and viewers know about?
Well, just I want to reiterate, parents, get close to your children, be engaged with them, and enjoy being a parent, and let's have children who are well educated, not just a so-so education, excellent education for our children.
They have to be prepared for college.
They've got to be ready for life.
And for life. Well, that's it. People want to contact you. What's the best way for that?
Contact me by phone, 575-644-1790, or to my email address, clcooper1946@gmail.com. And please, I would appreciate your vote November 5. And be sure to vote.
Everybody please get out to vote. That's all the time we have here. The subtitle of this show was Let's Focus on Solutions. This has been Candidates Forum here on the Las Cruces channel. I'm Mark Steffen, and thank you for joining us.
I am Carol Lynn Cooper, and I approve this message.